Hello, family. Okay, so it is November the 13th, and the 1111 portal opened up a couple of days ago. And I don't know if any of you guys have been feeling it, but this 1111 portal was a major shift. Like everything feels different, everything looks different. Even I'm noticing even things taste different. And shout out to those of you who listen to these messages. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Um, you know, if you would please like the messages, share the messages, subscribe, because if the messages are resonating with you, then chances are they're gonna resonate with someone else too. So, like I said, thank you for being a support. Now, today, my experience when I woke up this morning, based on a dream. And like I said in a previous video, my dreams now are becoming extremely accurate, day by day. Like literally, I can wake up and my day aligns with the very dream I had last night. That's been going on for a while. But in any case, what I'm channeling on today, and for those of you that are familiar with these messages, you already know I'm a channeler. I channel messages, and I, back my channeling up with basic research. So anyway, what I'm channeling is the number 100, and what I'm seeing in my mind's eye is this number 100 being broken down into multiples of 2 and multiples of 5. Okay, so we know that 20 times 5 is 100. We know that 25, which is a 2 and a 5, times 4, which is a multiple of 2, equals 100. We know that a 12.5, that's that 2 and that 5 again, 12.5 times 8 is 100. We know that 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 times 10 is 100. You get the point, okay? This duplication of 2 and 5. And what I'm channeling is a 2 and a 5. Those are mirroring symbols. Like if you flip a 5 upside down, it kind of looks like a 2. If you flip a 2 upside down, it kind of looks like a 5. So that's what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing that that's the major theme for the 1111 portal. And in the previous video, I talked about the importance of the 292 rule, meaning if you've done something 11 times, and a couple of times, you fumbled the ball a couple of 2 or 3 times, but for the rest of those times, if you did your best to, ace that or pass that portion of the test, whatever that test was, then I could hear the ancestors, my higher teams, my spiritual team saying that you're good. You passed the test. You're good to go. And now what I'm feeling is, in addition to that, what I'm seeing based on a conversation. And I just have these like regularly with my ancestors, the same way I have them with, my family members. 444, as I was saying that. So my ancestors and I were having a conversation yesterday, and they reminded me of something. It was a personal log that I recorded a few months back during the season of, it was between the transit between the season of Cancer and the season of Leo. And like what happens with me, my higher self was like, go back, do a review, and I did. And my spirit resonated with that video, that personal log, and I knew exactly why. So here's the thing about this 100. This 100 is saying, by way of this 1111 portal, 3, yes, is a powerful number. The number 3 is a magic number. It is. But the 3 is odd. And I said in a previous video that everything has to be even now. And so what that means is things have to be rightfully divided. 1111 is a 4. Okay, you got 25 on this side, 25 on that side, 25 on that side, and 25 on that side. And ironically enough, that 2 and that 5 mirror each other. Because out of 100, if you have 99, that's great. That's awesome. That's excellent. It's wonderful. But if you leave 1 behind, then what that means is even just a small little percent, you're incomplete. Okay? And based on the previous conversation that I had with my ancestors, they let me know the reason why they are back here is because we are the ones that got left behind. Okay? So if, let's just say, for example, if there were 99 planets in our star cluster, okay, in our part of the galaxy, and they had worked to get those 99, on the right track and get them, worked out, whatever things needs to be completed there, they got them worked out. And that's great. The 99 is great. But let's just say this little bitty planet called planet Earth was the one planet that was still having trouble. Okay. Do you think makers of the makers, or creators, or specialists in what particular field that they specialize in, in the part of creation, do you think that they would be satisfied with one of their creation stories, also known as planet Earth? Do you think they would be satisfied with that one being left behind? I don't think so. And based on what I've been hearing, they are not satisfied with that one being left behind. And so they're back here to assist with cleaning up old stories. All right? And a big part of cleaning up those stories is to deal with pieces and parts of all of our stories, including theirs, because we are the ones who have been walking out their stories. God, universe, and nature, there's a whole lot of information in their story. Okay. When we use the term God, that's a consciousness in and of itself. When we use the term universe, that is talking about a consciousness. When we talk about nature, nature is conscious. It all is conscious. Okay? But none of it, none of us would be here without the motivation for creating God, for creating universe, for creating nature. We were all created out of love stories. Okay? And love, LOVE, was and is and will always be the motivation, most times anyway, let me say it like that, will be the motivation for creating and continuing to create out of creation. And these are the hardest stories to tell. These are the hardest ones. And these were the stories that many of the ancestors left for last. Okay. So this is exactly why they're back here, rightfully dividing their truth about these stories. So, I mean, just ask yourself the question. And chances are you're gonna be able to solve your own equation when it comes to this. Ask yourself the question, which stories in your lifetime that you've dealt with, that you've experienced, that you've observed, that you've enjoyed, that you've not enjoyed? Which one of those stories, how many of those stories were love stories? And how many of those stories do you still hold near and dear to your heart? How many of those stories are still secret stories, stories that you can't tell nobody because you're not ready to be that vulnerable? You're not ready to dive deep into the waters of that truth because it's a hard truth. It's hard. Okay. And this place has been out of the love frequency for a very long time. And the reason why it's been out of that frequency for a very long time is because those were the stories that always got left last or got laughed at or got left behind, because you have to be vulnerable to yourself and to the people that you love or to the people that you hate or that hate you, to be open and honest enough to say how you really feel about love. And one of the my ITN principles is I am open to love in its various forms. So what does that mean? Let's talk about this 2-5 and talk about this 100 factor. A 2 can look like a 5 upside down, and a 5 can look like a 2 upside down. So what does that mean? Love can look like this, and love can look like that. Love can look like the total and complete opposite of this, and the total and complete opposite of that, and it still be love. This is why love is so complicated. This is why love is so hard to understand and compute mathematically. This is why love is so frustrating, because you can't put it in a bottle and call it this and call it that, and it plays by your rules. Love don't work like that. And so the ones who have been running the show for a very, 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 very long time, who are now, losing their positions of power, have been frustrated by that LOVE factor, okay, for a very long time, because you can't control it. That's the bottom line. It is what it is, okay? And the ancestors are back here, okay, for that reason and for that purpose, because they are letting us know, listen, children, I don't care how much truth you know, but until you learn the truth about love, you're missing one big old, vitally important piece and part of the story. One cannot enter into the fifth dimensional frequency of love properly until it rightfully divides its fourth dimensional portion and part of its truth. And this is why you've heard me say, for those of you that listen to these messages, we cannot bypass truth and get to love. It doesn't work like that. But this is why. Because if we always try to bypass love and get to the truth portion, there's at least one part, a big part, a vitally important part of that creation story that we're going to leave out. And so in the two-dimensional realms, what I call and or consider the medium realms, which is television and radio, and writing, stories that we hear and that we listen to and that we see and watch on television, stuff like that. We see a lot of those, happily ever after truthful stories. But a lot of times in real life, if we just be totally and truthfully honest, a lot of times we don't see those type of stories work out too well. The ones where love is so intense till you can literally feel it in the air. It's so thick. And then those be the stories that turn into tragedy. Okay? Because ask yourself the question, when it comes to love stories, personal love stories, have you ever experienced love so intense with someone, okay, until the very person that you love so much and so intensely is the very person that you want to run away from when they hurt you or when they disappoint you, okay? The same way we have a fight or flight method that we use in the state of fear is the same fight or flight method that we use in the state of love as well, if we be honest. And so what I'm hearing energetically is it's time for us to start fighting for love the same way that we fight to not be controlled and fight to gain our power back. We fight for this and we fight for that and we fight for truth and we fight for order and we fight for justice. And we have to fight for love in the same way. Okay? In all its various forms. And we within ourselves know what those various forms look like and feel like. All we have to do is be honest about it. Okay? So I hope this message resonates with someone. He that has an ear to hear, let him hear. She that has an ear to hear, let her hear. God bless you all. God keep you all safe, powerful, and protected, because we are truly better together. And we really, really are. And with that being said, we will see you later on down the road.